All right, what is going on, guys? We are back for round 2 at the 2025 THROWVEMBER. We are on the backside this time. Before we get into it, if you're enjoying the coverage and you are not yet subscribed, please subscribe. It goes a long way for the channel, but let's go ahead and get into it here. Our lead card this round, we got Chris Pinegar Jr. leading at 9 down, Bruce Esquivel at 8 down, Jake Brown also at 8 down, Gavin Lynggard also at 8 down. It's Bruce and Gavin's first time on the channel. And then we got Scott Watson at 7 down. He's been on the channel, I think, a couple times or at least once before. But hole 1 is a very short downhill shot. Chris Pinegar's shot actually cut out, so we missed it, but he threw his shot up there into circle 1, so he's going to be putting. Bruce going with the forehand. That's going to be up there as well. But yeah, it's 305, playing probably 250 just because it's very downhill. There is OB right and left, so if you turn it too much or pull it or fade it out to the left, then it could go OB, but Jake throws it perfect. You can see it's pretty tight there on the right side. So that's why these guys are throwing straight instead of hyzers. Oh, and Gavin getting a brutal reaction there. I think it could have even curled back in if it didn't hit that flag. Kind of a brutal reaction there, but here's Scott. Solid player out of San Diego on Team Infinite. I think he's got a breaker here. Nice stable putter. Looks to have just overturned it a little bit. Going downhill, it's just not going to want to come out of that steep Annie angle. So Gavin, here's his putt for par. It's his first time on the channel. Like I said, he's a local HB guy. Actually a friend of mine, so cool to see him on this lead card. Scott a little off right for the par. Gonna have a little bit of work left since it was a high basket.
Oh, good bid, Bruce.
Bruce, really good jump putter, just misses that a tiny bit low. Jake Brown, solid start. Nice little putt there. And a couple of par looks before Pinegar's birdie tap in. Or sorry, not par, bogey for Gavin and Scott. On just a little right side on that one. Gonna have to take a double to start the round. Here's Chris for his look, just going a little bit long. And a birdie to start it off, getting himself to 10 down. Honestly surprising. Usually someone shoots at least double digits on the lakeside. Hole 2, classic hole 2 backside. You could throw a dead straight shot mid-range up the middle, or this little hyzer line that Chris is looking at. Overstable Firebird right at that tree. Should fade off it and get a skip. Wide. Maybe was a little wide like he said though. Leaving him a little bit more work than he would like. Should be inside the circle though. Jake looks like he's going straight at it with rock 3 probably. Just looking to put it on a touch of Annie. Little low. Probably going to be a little short, but it should be up there. Bruce looking to do the same thing here. Not sure exactly what disc this is, but I'm sure it's some sort of straight to stable mid. And yep, that's exactly what it looks like it is, and that looks really good. Bruce preferring that touch of Annie angle with a more stable disc opposed to a little hyzer with a straighter disc. Gavin, not sure exactly what that disc is, but looked to be a little bit low. If it glided out, it could be up there, but it looked like it was going to be a little bit low. Catch the ground a little early there. Scott, I know this is a MD3, stable mid. That looks pretty solid. Yeah, that should be up there inside the circle. So Gavin, yeah, he kind of turned it over and probably got this little cut roll that you see when turn it over a little too early. So long putt though, still. Oh, and a really good bit at it. Just a little low. Jake actually finding the circle here. See if you can get another putt. Just a little low though. Might be giving one up to Chris early here for a 2-stroke lead. And there you go, sneaks it in for that 2-stroke lead. Scott for his birdie putt, see if he can get one of those bogey strokes back. Oh, and just soft on that. Maybe a little timid after a couple of misses on the first green, but see if he can clean that up throughout the round. Bruce getting that nice birdie, got himself to pin high on the drive. Alright, hole 3, classic island hole on the backside, par 4. Just want to throw a forehand or a backhand turnover that lands short of the gutter, but with some good distance, and then go across the hazard to an island on the sand. Pinegar, that looks pretty much perfect. You really just want to keep this thing on hyzer. Don't let it turn over too much. Bruce going with something pretty beefy here and getting a little check skip, but that's still only going to be, I think you're like 240 or so when you're next to that tree, so shouldn't be too bad. We've all thrown this shot plenty of times. Jake going with the little stand-up here, either a destroyer or a boss. Gavin going with the little flip to turn. And that actually ends up catching that full glide out and going OB. But he's going to have a long putt for the birdie because he got so far up there. But we'll see if he wants it or just wants to take a par and pitch it up. Scott going with the roller. Actually a pretty solid play. You just need to throw flippy so it doesn't go OB long, and he does. So that'll be in good position for the birdie. Bruce's shot. Just going with the little forehand hyzer. You guys will see the island here in a second. Yep, so just keeping it out left. That looks good. Oh, flash the front of the chains. That looks super close. That'll be a pretty much tap-in bird. Scott just off to the right with that roller. Oh, and caught the top of the basket, but goes a little bit long. He'll have a relatively short putt for the par, though. Jake getting way up there, pitching that up for the easy bird. Chris looking like he wants to take a stab at this. And definitely look to be giving that a run. Catches the sand, but still goes OB. Yeah, like I said, Gavin has a putt for the birdie, actually, because this is his drive. But if he goes long, then he'll be putting for the bogey, so we'll see what he wants to do. Looked like he might have been given that a bid. It was online, didn't quite look like a layup, but also just didn't want to juice it super hard. So here's Scott for his par. On just another leaky putt. Maybe just a little nervy, unconnected with the putter. Another one off left. Yeah, probably just a little unconnected with the putter. Sure, he'll figure it out. Pinegar for his par look. That thing almost bounced out. But getting back one on Chris, and kind of a gift there because he was even closer than Jake. Hole 4, also classic. Hole 4, par 4 here, OB right of this gutter. So you're kind of just throwing a hyzer out there past those trees. Or if you're Bruce, you're throwing an Annie with a super stable disc. Way out there too. That'll be in perfect position. And then the basket is in the very right corner. So from that landing zone, it's pretty much a straight shot. So Jake and Bruce are actually both at 10 down, 1 back of Pinegar now. That's also prime position. Yep, that's perfect. Stable disc right in the middle of the gap. There you go. Gavin going with the stable cloud breaker here. It's like Horizon Sea Line plastic. That looks perfect.
Good shot, Gavin.
Yep, that's prime position.
Yeah.
Scott looks like some sort of halo disc, maybe an Emperor or something. Could be a Destroyer too, but I know he likes infinite discs. And yeah, that's going to be solid right there. Jake going to be first. Looks like he might have a little bit of a turnover shot with this tree. Yep, just turning that a little bit. Needs to go, and yeah, slides right up there.
Thank you.
Gavin probably just looking to throw a straight shot with a tiny bit of fade. Oh, and actually goes right at it. Fading left, needs to hold on. Catches the curb. That'll be right there for the birdie. Scott, see if he can put this one in close. Give himself a comfortable birdie putt. Oh, playing the turnover actually. And yeah, that's going to be pretty solid. Well inside the circle. All good shots for now, Bruce. See if he can keep it going. Yep, playing that anti-flex line. And that'll clear the OB. It'll be a little right, but that's up there.
Looks like my goal.
Round circle's edge. Not sure exactly what disc this is. Could be like a pig or something. It looked to be pretty stable and skips up there. Alright, so Bruce is going to be out maybe 28, 30 feet or so. And yeah, that's a solid putt. Scott, see if he can make a putt here. Couple nervy ones, but no OB really on this one, and just leaks it a little left again. Giving himself opportunities, just not quite connecting on the putts. Nice birdie there. Pretty much some tap-ins. So all birdies and a par. That is a well-played hole 4. Hole 5. Didn't quite get the whole practice routine for Bruce, so not too much time to talk about it before, but it's just a 355-foot hole, but there is OB tight right and left, so you need to throw something straight that skips straight, because it is pretty fast up there. Bruce throws a good shot, plays it to 25 left or so. Jake playing the inside flip up and getting some nice skip up there. Pushes left, but it's going to be in bounds for the birdie. Didn't quite like it, but it got up there. Chris, I think, is also throwing a T-bird here. And that's the right shape. Yep, getting a skip up to pin high left. A little bit more left action than he wanted, but it'll be inside the circle and safe, so. Gavin going with the distance driver. Getting a nice flip up out of it. That is perfect. That's how you want to do it, is really push that right side, but not let it flip over. Scott, not sure what he's throwing here. Possible that it's like a dynasty. I know he likes throwing those little flip up lines. And yeah, it looked to be a pretty flippy disc, so probably some sort of straight fairway, but just barely clips that branch. Looked to be a decent line. Gonna have a little up and down here. And there you go. Skips it up there. All right, Jake. One back of Pinegar to put the pressure on him if he does make this. Oh, and that was a clean putt. Probably outside the circle by a couple yards, too. Chris, probably 30 feet to keep the pace and the lead. Oh, it was in and then it came out. That was a brutal little nub, but he had one of those squeaking earlier, so that's just how it goes. So Bruce to tie it up, make it a 3-way tie at the top. There you go, 3-way tie at 12. Gavin with the great shot on this hole. Hard to miss it right, really, and stay in bounds without it flipping over. Hole 6, just the dead straight 245. You got this gap to hit, and that's really it. Whatever you feel comfortable throwing.
Okay, that works.
Even some people throw fairway driver. Bruce getting the early tree left. That's going to be a tricky up and down. Jake, he's got this stable rock 3 that he's liking. Just looking to hit the center of the gap, and you're going to have a putt. Basket's up there on the left. You can see in the gap of the trees, and that's a little short, but it will be all right. Maybe circle's edge or so. Oh yeah, that looks perfect. Oh, it actually flipped over a little bit. Pushing towards that next hole's tee pad. Probably throwing a fairway driver of some sort. Just pushing it a little long, but it'll be a putt around circle's edge or so. Chris even, I think, going with a fairway driver, just trying to keep it on hyzer. Oh, and hits the basket. Giving it an ace run. That's going to be parked. Maybe that's why he's going fairway driver. Just wants to ace it. Scott, a little early, but that'll be up there putting. Probably around circle's edge. So Bruce going with this sidearm turnover here. With the slammer. Just not turning the disc. That's going to be pretty much an upshot from there. Yeah, a really long putt. Just throwing another forehand up. And pushing it a little bit long. That's going to be a little bit more work than he would have wanted for the bogey putt. Jake from outside the circle. Another clean circle 2 putt. Back to back. Feeling the putter right now. See if Gavin can make a nice C2 putt here. Get himself to 10 down. Which is definitely still in the mix. Oh, and just knew out of the hand. Pulled it a little right. Scott, another birdie opportunity. Definitely giving himself putts. See if he can connect on one. And just pushes that one way right. Gonna have some work on that too. Bruce missing that. He's gonna have to take a double from tied in the lead. Gonna be 3 back now. And Scott missing the comebacker. Just struggling with the putter. But really is throwing the disc solid. I'm sure that's why he's frustrated. Just not capitalizing. Alright, hole 7 is going to be a par 4. We have a Mando right off the tee. That you'll see right here, keeping you right. So you have to throw a backhand straight shot, or backhand hyzer off to the right even, or a forehand. Jake's actually going with this cut roller, going with the flippy, I think Roadrunner probably. Cutting this way left off of the hill. Blocking the shot though. But getting a lot of straight push and some fade out at the end. That is a super technical, good roller, and will be a really easy up and down from there. Chris just lining up the straight shot. Oh, and that is beautiful. Dead center of the gap.
That way too.
Getting a big old skip. Just saying, yeah, you could get to that spot with the air shot. Gavin looks like he's going with the air shot as well. Oh, and look good. Just a tiny bit too much pop up. Got to keep it really low out of the hand, just letting it pop up just under those limbs. It's a really low ceiling for how hard you want to throw this drive though. Scott popping that thing way too high. You honestly can reach the basket from there though. It's really not that far. Bruce, solid looking shot. Maybe a tad too straight, but he will have a look from there for sure. Gavin, like I said, he's going to have a shot from there. He's way back. But if he airs this just under that low ceiling tree, then he could get himself a putt. A really good shot, honestly. Just a little bit too low. Going to come up a little short. Or maybe just a little bit too slow a disc. Scott throwing a super technical little Annie line. That was a sick shot. Going to get himself up there putting. Maybe in circle 2 or so. Bruce going with the little flick here. Decent shot, just a tiny bit too low. Coming up a little short. Chris with pretty much a little chip here. Yeah, he threw that like as soft as he possibly could. Jake with the jump putt with that drive. So Gavin, little upshot here. See how his touch game is. I think he's throwing like a rhino for this shot. Pretty much looked perfect to me. Scott with the long birdie look. Oh, and he makes it from deep. There you go. There's the big putt. Bruce with the long putt for himself. Little low. Gets a little extra rollout. That's going to be some meat left on the bone. This downhill green easily gets away from you. Chris for his birdie. Ooh, and a good left side catch there. Yep, that is a nice comeback here. All right, so it is going to stay tied at the top. Hole 8 says 350. It's really probably 380 or so. Dead straight. You got a Mando keeping you left so you can't throw a big hyzer. That's pretty much perfect. It's going to be close to pin high left. You really just want to throw something that goes dead straight, maybe turns a tiny bit, but you don't really want to mess with the street, so you just kind of want to throw it as straight as you can. You can see that drifting a bit right, but not really turning. That's going to be up there, probably near circle's edge or so as well. And both of them throwing T-birds. Scott playing more of the turning line, just doesn't quite get it to hold over, but you know what, that's going to be a putt. Not sure what this is, but going well. Oh yeah, that is a great shot. Looking for a little hyzer flip. Looked to be turning a bit much, but seemed like it, yeah, stayed safe. The tap in par. Scott, see if you can make 2 long ones back to back here. On a decent starting line, just a little too much nose up or too straight. Just fading out a little left. Oh, and Gavin just coming up a little bit short after that nice drive. Looks like Jake and Chris's discs are right next to each other. Nice birdie putt from Jake, putting a little pressure on Chris. Just 25 feet or so though, maybe 28. Oh, and a surprising band hit though. Jake Brown actually gonna take the lead. He did put a little pressure on him. Alright, hole 9, going to be another par 4. We're teeing off from typical 10s tee pad, but going to 11's right pin with a Mando left of that tree and the pole on the right. Jake throwing an insane roller. That is a crazy play to me, but it just gets so far up there. So if he's confident with it, then more power to him, but that is a super technical shot for this hole. Chris just throwing the T-bird dead straight down the middle, giving himself a nice look there. Scott doing the same thing, kind of playing a little hyzer flip. Oh, and getting a big kick left and a saving kind of kiss back to the right. So he'll have a look, some sort of look at the basket. Gavin, decent looking shot there. Oh, getting a bad little bounce off the tree. Actually going out of bounds, so he's going to be trying to save his par from there, which could be tricky depending on what he has. Bruce throwing dead straight, just a little low, but he's going to have something from there for sure. Scott, slightly tricky lie, just not giving himself a run-up, but he does have enough for a standstill forehand swing. And look pretty good out of the hand. Ends up a little right inside the circle, though. It's a pretty good shot from there with no run-up. And just considering how little he throws sidearm. Gavin actually lining up this hyzer over the out of bounds and the trees on the right. Only thing he can't do is miss right and go out of bounds again. Hitting that tree, but it does stay in bounds. That easily could have kicked out of bounds right again. So kind of fortunate there, but definitely not going to be happy about hitting that tree. Bruce just clipping those limbs a little bit. Going to have a relatively easy up and down for the par. Chris going with the little flex sidearm, and that's going to be up there for a relatively short putt. Bruce, little chip for the par, going to be parked. And Jake with another jump putt on a par 4. So I guess that's why he's throwing rollers, so he can have the easiest up shots. And there you go. Gavin, little bit of work left to save the bogey. Junior not quite parking it, but oh my, another short circle one miss. Definitely not expecting that one. Especially not after missing the last one. And a nice birdie from Scott there, actually, from the weird positioning. But yeah, you don't really expect Chris to miss one of those, let alone 2 in a row. So that's going to be giving up 2 to Jake, back-to-back holes. So I think Jake take a 2-stroke swing now, or a 2-stroke lead now, going into hole 10. Hole 10, par 3. I mean, that shot pretty much just does the talking for me. You just throw it out there in the open, little hyzer, let it slowly fade back. If you pull it off to the right, it does get a little flatter, so you don't necessarily see the big skips. So there is kind of a fine line between, you know, putting it far enough right, but then also, you know, like enough hyzer so that way it can get back left enough. And you kind of saw Scott's got caught up on the right, didn't quite get back as far. Chris keeping that a little inside, but then that kind of gets fast left, so it is a fine line. It's not the easiest hole, but I mean, if you just throw something out there on hyzer, you're gonna have a putt. So Bruce, that line looks really good. Kind of gets the big skip, but it was wide enough to where it can afford it. See if Gavin can get back on the birdie train here. Picking up a bogey on the last hole. And that looks pretty good.
Big.
Yeah, that'll be solid. So Scott, furthest out, only 30 feet or so. Another one that just kind of slides off the chains that definitely could have caught, but just a little bit off the center. Chris from 25 or so. Same distance, he just missed two, and honestly barely squeaked that one in. Seems to be a little bit off with this putter than normal. And there you go. Gavin threw pretty much the same putt, if not maybe a little better, and it doesn't go in. So never really know with those just off the top of the cage putts. Some are gonna go in and some aren't. Hole 11, this is the classic double-double hole. We got a double Mando short and a double Mando long with OB right and left. This is pretty much the teeth of the back nine. You can see really big numbers here if you miss the Mando or go OB. Jake making the Mando and barely staying inbounds straight. Chris looking for a little bit of fade on this. Gets a big old skip. That's going to be way up there.
No, no way.
Bruce just a little inside on that. Going to kick out of bounds, but it misses the Mando, so he'll be going from the drop zone. If that would have kicked and then stayed out of bounds short of the Mando, that'd be like worst case scenario. Because you'd still have to make the Mando, but be out of bounds. Scott making the Mando, going out of bounds way up there, so he will have a shot from the par, though. Gavin, solid looking shot, just turns it over a bit much, but you know, he'll be far from the basket, but he'll have a look for the birdie if he wants it. Oh, and Bruce looked like he was going for it, but stays inbounds. Gavin going with this little rhino turnover. You see the Mandos on the left tree and the right pole. Look decent out of the hand. Oh, that was definitely going to be fading out left, though. But gets a great kick off the tree to, well, looked like parked. Maybe a little short, but either way, you will take that. Bruce looking to get up and down for the bogey here.
What's that tree?
Oh, was looking like a really good shot. Just hits the tree and kicks down. He's going to have a putt, though. Definitely could have kicked out of bounds right. Jake, touchy little turnover shot here. That was nice. Scott, this is his par shot, or to get up and down for the par. Oh, yeah. Great shot there. Little flick, Annie. Chris for an eagle bid. Might be the first time I've ever seen that on this hole. And Bruce missing that putt left. It's gonna be a double. Gavin can capitalize. Oh yeah, a little right side, but you will take it. That is a great birdie from way back there. Guy's blocking the camera a little bit, but we can see the basket now. And there you go, good birdie. Super clean birdie from Jake. Scott with the nice par save. Chris with the tap and birdie. Hole 12, this is normal 13. We're just going left of this pole, dead straight. I think it definitely is longer than 310, probably 330 or so.
Oh, yeah.
Playing a little uphill though.
Oh, they're still
Jake
putting.
just throwing the dead straight shot.
My bad.
Yeah.
I heard the basket after I threw.
Hold that, they're still putting up there. You can either throw like a slight flex or just the dead straight shot like Jake threw. Looks like Chris is throwing the same disc, this T-bird that they've both been throwing on like the same holes. And that pretty much looks perfect too. Kind of more of a higher line, but works just fine. Gavin, I believe this is an eagle. And that looks like a perfect line. I love that shape for this hole. Just tiny Annie with the little fade out at the end. Nice stable fairway driver. Scott going with the new Discmania made FD1. Stable guy. Yep, same line as Gavin. Little Annie. But his just catches a little more skip and actually goes just OB long. So he's going to have a putt for his par. See if Bruce can bounce back here. That looks like a nice line. Going to fade up the hill a little bit, but should be pretty solid. Gavin for his birdie. This is furthest out then. That is a great grouping. Yeah, nice clean putt. Back-to-back birdies. Gonna be getting himself to 10 down. Jake for his birdie. Keep the difference of 2. Oh, and just barely misses it low. Hasn't missed many putts today, but 2 he missed has been low. Bruce with a solid putt there down the hill. Pinegar missing a couple of these throughout the round. See if he can get a stroke back on Jake. Yep, there you go. That's the putt we're normally used to seeing. Scott for his par. There you go. Nice putt. All right, hole 13, double hole. It's in this straight position. It's not even a normal position for this hole. Chris pulling this forehand, going to be missing the Mando. But like I was saying, it's kind of just down left from the normal right position. So it's kind of just more of a straight, longer shot. This looks great if it can hit the tree and drop, which it looks like it does, which means he's probably going to be about 20 feet short. Bruce on that lower line, that looks
back.
good.
Yeah.
Should turn right and get a little cut roll back down the hill like he was saying. Jake going with this AVR 3 that I'm very surprised he's throwing a backhand, because he's just, from what I've seen in the past, such a forehand, maybe not forehand dominant, but a very strong forehand player. And seemed to have really dialed his backhand in recently because he's leaning on it. Scott looked like that kicked right and missed the Mando, so he's going to be going from the drop zone with Chris. Chris leaking that one. That's going to be way longer than you want from this shot. Scott playing that a little bit better, but gonna be a little bit of work left as well. It looks like it's right there. Maybe not that bad. But Chris, outside the circle for his bogey look here when Jake's putting for the birdie to get 2 more. If he were to make it, so that's actually going to be potential 3-stroke swing. Gavin for a turkey. Yeah, there you go. Nice birdie. Oh, and Jake, that one just came out a little weird. The timing seemed kind of off there. It just dropped right out of the hand. But coming up low again. Still going to be taking 2 on Chris, though. Going to be falling back to 15 down. Jake's going to have a 3-stroke lead. Bruce with a nice birdie there. Getting that cut roll back down the hill just like he thought. All right, hole 14. We just got this Mando on the tree to the right, OB left of this fence, so it's a really tight tee shot. Kind of want to start it at the fence and turn it right. Jake,
Fall down. Oh.
Gavin hitting the fence. A lot of the times they'll hit the fence, pop straight up and go OB left, so wouldn't say he necessarily got lucky, but it was nice that he didn't get unlucky because that happens all the time. Oh, and Bruce almost doing the same thing, but kind of catches the pull and just bounces him right. If that would have hit the fence, I could almost guarantee it would have went over because it was so high on the fence. But it hit the pole, so it kind of just bounced him. Jake, that was the proper line, just too low. Kind of throws it in the ground. Giving Pinegar slightly open door. Scott, that line looks really good, but a lot of the times when they fade back in, they'll go OB long, so we'll see where that ends up. Chris really needing this stroke here. Just pulling it into that tree. Laughing because he literally never does that. But gonna be looking at another bogey here. If he can make that putt, throws it a little wide and long after the short little pitch up. So Jake with a par will get at least 1 stroke. Here's Bruce's up and down. Decent looking shot, just catches that tree. He might have the putt through the little V tree right there. Gavin, little chip shot. Should be solid. And yep, through this little V tree. Oh, decent looking bid, just hits the top band. Here's Chris's putt for the bogey to only lose 1. Absolutely needs this. Just leaks it off left. Gonna be going back down to 13 down, 5 strokes back. That's brutal. And Scott looked like he just tapped that birdie in, so he was right there. Absolute brutal couple of holes for Chris there. So hole 15, this is kind of a turnover, roller, or really a forehand shot. There's a Mando on the right keeping you left. So Scott is opting for the roller here, which is pretty cool. You don't really see this too often. Kind of lost it right when it went past the hill, but it actually ended up curling up to around the circle. Not sure exactly how far, but we'll see. Gavin also going with the backhand here. Clearly a pretty backhand dominant player. And And that looks pretty good too. Just catching that tree. That would have been solid if it missed it, honestly. But really just a stock sidearm shot if you have it. Jake finally going to that sidearm, keeping it on hyzer, and yeah, you can see what I was talking about there. Just a stock, easy shot that should have skipped right up to the basket. Bruce going with the turnover as well. He has a decent sidearm, but I think he likes this turnover shot. He's very confident with that Anheuser angle, and yeah, that looked great. That was one of the best backhand turnover shots I've seen on the hole. Pinegar going with the flick as well. Nice looking shot. Just needs to miss that tree and does right in front of it. Should be up there. Gavin giving himself a birdie putt. Just very uphill. Oh, that looked really good. Just came up a little short. Here's where Bruce's turnover landed. Oh, a surprising low miss. Did not expect that. I think it was a little further than what it looked like from that initial camera perspective. Nice putt from Scott. That is a great birdie with the roller. I don't know if I've ever seen that in tournament play, at least. Chris is here. It looks like Jake's right there just in front of him. So we'll have Bruce tapping in his par and then Jake right after. Yep. So back on the birdie train. Jake's going to get to 19. Pinegar is going to get to 14. So 5-stroke difference with 3 holes. You don't expect it, but anything can happen. You never know.
Throw it, dude. Get over.
Scott looking to turn that a tiny bit more, but you know what? It's going to be maybe 45 feet or so. We got OB right besides the kind of peninsula up by the basket. It's almost like the shape of a P. Jake getting a nice little reaction there, bouncing him up to inside the circle. Forehand is really the shot here if you got it, but it does play long, I think, because there's like no skips, so you really have to land it at the distance. Chris just parking it. Not necessarily a forehand player, but definitely has forehand power. Gavin, nice looking little turnover shot here. Holding that Andy the whole time, getting a little fade back at the end. That was nice. See if Bruce can do something similar. I'm sure that's the shot shape he's looking for. Actually going for a little more hyzer flip. Gonna fade out a little bit, but that should be up there.
Sure.
Looks like it landed right side. Oh, pushed a little straight long. Scott, maybe 38 feet or so. Actually, not as far as it looked from the camera. And just pushing that a little bit too straight. Giving it the full bid, though. Looks like Bruce. Nope. Wasn't outside the circle and just misses it a little high again. And see, he's definitely frustrated. He's like a really good putter, so I'm surprised to see him missing these. Another good birdie from Gavin. Playing solid on this back 9.
Whatever you think, Scott. I'll go ahead. Yeah. They're like the same, really.
Scott gonna be up first, just tapping in his par. Solid little putt there. Couple of birdies from the leaders. So Chris is 5 back still. Really don't see it happening. Even if Jake missed the Mando, it'd be a 2-stroke swing at best. So, and he just piped it. So that is a great shot, and it's looking like Jake Brown is going to take this one down. But Pinegar can still get himself a nice 2nd place. Nice little payday. And yeah, that looks good to me. Close to identical shots. Gavin going with the same disc as the last hole.
Oh, come on.
And just starting it a tiny bit too far left. Gonna miss the Mando there. Decent looking shape, just a little early release. Scott, nice shot, nice shape. Gonna give himself a maybe circle's edge look, maybe just inside circle. Bruce going with the same disc he's been throwing. I think it might be a Warship. He used to be on Dynamic, so got very comfortable with this disc, if that's what it is. Comes up a little bit short, but he's going to be putting for bird. Got some spectators running through the park. It is a park after all. Gavin just a little chip up. Nice work there. See if Bruce can make a jumper. This is like his favorite. Oh, and such a solid bid. Definitely could have stuck. Just kind of left side chain out though. See if Scott can make a nice putt. Just a little low. Again, just kind of shaky on the greens today, but again, giving himself a lot of opportunities. Jake with a nice birdie. Chris getting a tapping in as well. Yep. Hole 18.
Different.
Typically an island hole, but there's no OB, so it's just downhill 345, playing 285 maybe. Jake just going with the dead straight shot, really doesn't have any pressure anymore. Pinegar is the closest one at 5 back and just parks it, so he's gonna take this one down. Pinegar, not sure right now where he is in the standings, but clearly beating the rest of the card and parks it. So solid finish, just a couple of rough holes for the guy. See if Scott can finish out with a birdie. Looks like a nice shape, kind of drifting over that breaker. Pushing it a little right, but we'll give him an opportunity to make a putt on the final hole.
Oh yeah, it was good on this hole.
Bruce saying he always does that. Giving himself another jumper. See if he can make one to close it out. Gavin going with this pyro here. Nice and stable disc, just trusting it outright. Actually like this play a lot. Ooh, little flex on it actually.
Get in the hole.
Yeah, that was a nice line. Going a little bit long, but well inside the circle. There it is. Finishing the round with a nice jumper. That's always nice to hit after a frustrating couple of holes. Scott also making a nice putt to finish the round. I know he's a good putter, just struggling on the green a little bit today. Gavin with a nice round and a nice birdie to finish it out. Chris with a good performance, but Jake, really solid round, taking it down. Your 2025 THROWVEMBER champ. Congrats, Jake Brown. That's 2 wins back to back on the channel, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Overall scores, Jake shooting a 14 today, getting himself to 22 down. Pinegar shooting an 8 down, which is still respectable, getting himself to 17. Lynggard with the 4 down. Bruce with the 3 down, and Scott with the 1 over. We'll have our final leaderboard pop up here in a second. So we got Jake Brown, 22 down in first. Chris, 17 down solo second. Daniel Perry getting up to 3rd place with the 8 down. Gavin Boss with the 4th place finish at 8 down for the round, 13 overall. Wyatt Fittement and Gavin Lynggard tying at 12 overall. Bruce with the solo 7th at 11. Eli Hostler, not sure if I'm saying that correct, but 10 down overall 8th, and Tyler Anir and Diego Perez at 9 down, tied for 9th. That is it for the Throwvember coverage. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.